Viewers, even as the Joint Parliamentary Committee is holding extensive deliberations on the Waqf Amendment Bill, there is no end to WAQF Board laying claim on land in different parts of the country. After Karnataka and Kerala, notices have now been issued to farmers in Maharashtra's Latur, where WAQF Board is claiming 300 acres of land belonging to 103 farmers. Maharashtra State Waqf Tribunal has issued notices to 103 farmers instructing them to answer all the questions related to the Waqf's claim. Farmers have been asked to appear on designated date to provide responses and submit all necessary witnesses and documents in support of their defense. The notice further specifies that failure to attend the hearing on the given date is going to result in responsibility falling on the concerned parties. The notices have caused panic, alarm among the farmers who say they have been cultivating the land in question for generations. They assert that this is their ancestral land and not part of WAQF Board's property. They have also appealed to the government to ensure they receive justice in this matter. Listen.
मैं तलेगांव का नागरिक है। हम खेती करते हैं। मेरे को 6 एकड़ जमीन है। वक्त बोर्ड कोर्ट ने हमको जुलाई में नोटिस भेजी है कि वो ये जमीन जो है तो कोर्ट हमारी है और वो खाली करके जो बोल के नोटिस भेजी वाली है। हमको कुछ नहीं, सब हमारी जमीन है। 3 पीढ़ियों से हम जमीन में कसते हैं। वो जमीन जो है सो हमारे रहना ये इतना हमारा ये है, दूसरा कुछ नहीं सर हमारे को।
The Mahayuti government has vowed justice in this matter, with Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde assuring that the state government will act as per the constitution and will ensure that no injustice is done to anyone. The state BJP also stated that Maharashtra government will initiate an inquiry into this matter and has slammed the Congress party, holding it responsible for excessive powers given to the Waqf Board and the suffering of the farmers. Listening.
देखिए, नियम बाह्य कुठलंही काम होणार नाही। हे सरकार नियमाने चालणार आहे, लोकशाही मार्गाने चालणार आहे, संविधानाच्या मार्गाने चालणार आहे। त्यामुळे कुठेही कुणावरही अन्याय होणार नाही।
कई किसानों की जगह जबरदस्ती अतिक्रमण करके वक्फ बोर्ड ने अपना नाम डाला है। पूरा इसका दोबारा डिजिटलाइजेशन होना चाहिए, सारा रिकॉर्ड क्लीन होना चाहिए और इसके लिए जो सरकार ने करना है, केंद्र सरकार, राज्य सरकार ने, भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने बार केंद्र को भी और राज्य को भी हमने लिखा है। वक्फ बोर्ड ने सभी प्रकार की जमीन अपने कब्जे में ली है, वो सारी छोड़नी चाहिए और उसके लिए सरकार कड़ी कार्रवाई करेगी।
While there was no outright condemnation on Waqf's unending land claiming spree, Maha Vikas Aghadi leaders said they will look into the notices issued to farmers and stated if farmers possess necessary documents, their land cannot be taken away. Asaduddin Owaisi's AIMIM also echoed the same sentiment, putting the burden of proof on the farmers, saying if they have valid documents, Waqf in fact cannot claim their land forcibly. Listen.
मैं भी आश्चर्यचकित था कि अचानक किसानों को ये नोटिस जारी किया गया। ये वक्फ बोर्ड ने किया है या किसी की शिकायत की वजह से वक्फ बोर्ड ने ये नोटिस जारी किया है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इन बातों को हमें और बारीकी से जानना होगा। किसानों से हमने संपर्क किया है, किसानों की बात हम सुन रहे हैं और अगर किसानों की वो जमीन है तो वो जमीन कोई नहीं छीन सकता है।
देखो, ये स्थिति किस आधार पर वक्फ बोर्ड ने नोटिस भेजा है, क्या उनके अधिकार है क्या नहीं है, इसकी डिटेल मेरे पास अभी नहीं है। अगर किसानों की जमीन है, वह खेती करते हैं और उनकी जमीन अगर वक्फ बोर्ड अपने कब्जे में लेना चाहती है, अगर 7/12 इनका किसानों का होगा, उनकी मालकियत होगी, तो ये वक्फ बोर्ड नहीं कर सकता। लेकिन मेरे पास डिटेल नहीं है तो उस पर अभी मैं कोई वक्तव्य नहीं करूँगा।
बात यह है, अगर शेतकरी लोग, किसान लोग इस बात का दावा करते हैं कि भाई ये जगह हमारी है, उनके पास सबूत पेपर वगैरह हैं, तो वक्फ बोर्ड ऐसे 100 नोटिस जारी करे, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है। लेकिन अगर वो जगह वक्फ की है और शेतकरी लोग वहाँ खेती करते आ रहे हैं, तो वक्फ बोर्ड को इस बात का अधिकार है कि वो अपनी जमीन उनसे वापस लेने के लिए नोटिस देवे।
And on this debate this evening, we are joined by Karan Verma, who is an author, Sriraj Nair, national spokesperson, VHP, Khalifur Rahman, who is a political analyst. We also have with us Atikur Rahman, who is a political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now this evening. Khalifur Rahman, I'd like to begin this debate with you. From Karnataka to Kerala to Maharashtra, it's the same story. Suddenly, people are sent notices that the land that they've been using for generations, for years, actually belongs to the Waqf Board. I mean, what should the people really do?
See, first of all, let me tell you, because properties are all gazetted properties. And if any property, if the Waqf Board is claiming, if it is a gazetted property, then that property belongs to the Waqf Board. Otherwise, Waqf Board is supposed to conduct an inquiry under Section 40 of the Waqf Act, 1995. But having said this, if the Waqf Board has issued the notices to these farmers, then it has to be ascertained on what basis the Waqf Board has issued the notices to them. And was there any complaint by anyone, or on what basis? Because the basis of issuing the notices have to be ascertained. That's number one. And Waqf Board simply cannot just you issue a notice to anyone claiming that property to be the Waqf Board's property, unless and until there is some complaint on that property, and otherwise the Waqf Board cannot claim any property without any proper document, without conducting the inquiry. And if it is not gazetted, because all the properties are gazetted, and moreover the digitization work which started during the UPA 2 time, that also, is pending in most of the states. That also needs to be completed, which is underway now in most of the states. Because once that happens, I think that will put an end to these kind of queries, these kind of issues.
Well, you are saying that it has to be ascertained first on what basis notices are issued, but unfortunately all of that is not really happening, because it seems suddenly people are sent notices and the onus falls on the victims in all these cases to actually prove that the land belongs to those people. Karan Verma, where do you stand on this particular issue? Because it's happening almost on a daily basis. We've heard numerous stories coming in from Kerala, Karnataka. Action was also taken by the government in Karnataka after the plight of farmers was, put out in the open. And now we have a story from Maharashtra, 103 plus farmers.
So, Hina, I'll start by replying to Khalikur Rahman Saab's observations. He's a reasonable person. What he said is that there will be an inquiry. Sir, who will conduct the inquiry? It's the Waqf Tribunal which is going to conduct an inquiry on a complaint raised by the Waqf and give a judgment on it. That is the principle. Sir, let me complete.
I'd like to intervene here.
मैं बोल लूं फिर आप बोलिएगा.
ठीक है.
एक सेकंड बोलने दीजिए भाई. Complain, जब भी बोलते हैं हम, what basis was the complaint? Do you know on what frivolous grounds in the past complaints have been raised? हमारा कोई एक पुश्तैनी person यहाँ पे पानी पीने गया था and he wrote it that this belongs to Allah. And that is how we lay claim on this piece of land. And what does the tribunal do? It's the tribunal that sits on it, passes a judgment, and then, thanks to the Supreme Court, now we have an option to go to the court. Till now, we did not even have the option to go to the court. That is how 3 lakh properties have ballooned to 8.5 lakh properties from 2009 to 2024. That is why 4 lakh acres today has ballooned to 9.5 lakh acres. And how is this not against the principle of natural justice? अभी AIMIM के MLA ने भी कहा, they will show the papers. आप खुद कहते हो कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे, and then you want everyone standing in front of the Waqf Tribunal. The onus is on them, which is against the principles of natural justice. How fair is this? And it's not coming from me, by the way. It's come from K. Rahman Khan, the 6th JPC in 2006, who said this is unfair. This is unfair at its very core. So this needs amendments, this needs to change, and because, Hina, there is a hurry, they know that this is going to be changed, they are issuing notices left, right, center, grabbing land. That's what's going on right now.
Okay, that's a point of view that you've raised. We'll get my guest to respond to that. But firstly, quick rebuttal, Khalikur Rahman, and then I'll go across to Atikur Rahman.
See, whenever an inquiry is conducted, inquiry is just not conducted only by the Waqf Tribunal. It is conducted along with the Revenue Department. And there is, in Maharashtra, there is something called the Satbara. If the farmers are having the Satbara, forget about the Waqf Board, no one can take away the properties, no one can touch those properties.
Okay.
But
Atikur
it's not
Rahman.
by the Waqf Tribunal.
Okay. Atikur Rahman, your opening remarks, because here, politics aside, we also played the soundbite of a farmer who today is a victim. Suddenly he is told that the land where he was working for, many years, it belonged to, these families for over 3 generations. Suddenly, Waqf says this land doesn't belong to you. I mean, just imagine the plight of the farmers here also, right? I mean, politics, keep that aside for a moment and think about the people that we are talking about who are suffering because of these notices being sent left, right and center, literally. Atikur Rahman.
Hina, with immediate effect, the chairman, the members and all the officials of this Maharashtra Waqf Board should be arrested, and before their arrest, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra should be arrested, because the Waqf Board of any state works under the Chief Minister of that state. The Muslim community, the ulema, the Muslim scholars have nothing to do with any of the Waqf boards in the entire length and breadth of India. So this Waqf, boards issuing the notices left, right and center, as Karan mentioned, should be immediately brought to book. They should be, arrested. And the court should take cognizance that why farmers, and I have heard long ago, Hina, that whoever tills the land owns the land. So who are these Waqf boards? These Waqf boards are neck deep into corruption, and the chief ministers and all the top officials of the state, they are running the affairs of the Waqf board. The Muslim community per se have never gained anything from the Waqf board.
Okay, Karan, I know wants to respond, but before that, Karan, let me quickly take the opening comments as well. Atikur Rahman has clearly held the state governments responsible for what is happening in this particular case. We are talking about Maharashtra. Let's take the opening comments now from Sriraj Nair as well, national spokesperson of the VHP. You heard the 3 panelists. What is your point of view? Because there are so many stories, and we are also concerned about the people who are being sent these notices. We've got stories of families, from Kerala, from Karnataka, who have told us that suddenly people have come to them with these notices saying that the land doesn't belong to these people.
See, first of all, these people are preparing for the future, 50 years. It is high time. This is a dangerous move. It is high time the Waqf board is scrapped and all the properties are nationalized. We have to understand these invaders, the Islamic invaders, didn't carry the land on a camel's back and came to this land. This is pure Hindu land. Our ancestors lived here. The entire subcontinent, if you see, either they are Hindus today or the people or the Muslims who are living in the entire subcontinent, their ancestors were Hindu. So why are they not respecting their ancestors? Not a single inch of land in this entire subcontinent. Forget about this, today's Bharat does not belong to Waqf. This is a Hindu land. Invaders came, converted our own people, and they broke away our country. Our country was divided. So this Waqf board has to be scrapped. Now coming back to Karnataka, Kerala, Bihar, this Islam came into existence 1450 years back, and they are claiming temple which was 2000 year old back. 2000 year old temples. Here in Mumbai, Waqf board is claiming Mr. Mukesh Ambani's residence. In Delhi, that Badruddin Ajmal is claiming Parliament and Delhi Airport, and in Kerala, a mad mullah is claiming Supreme Court as Waqf's property. So how long this joke will go on? See, they are all preparing. This is all a modus operandi, and they are trying to increase their population. In coming 50 years,
okay.
they are
Karan Verma, respond to what Atikur Rahman had said. Okay, Sriraj Nair, we've heard you.
Government of India should scrap the Waqf board.
Okay.
Can I make a point? So, Hina, what Atikur Rahman Saab said, he said two things and I agree with him on both the things, but he doesn't identify the cause behind it. He said there is gross corruption and lack of transparency happening. Of course it's happening. That is why we need amendments for that. You should welcome the amendments that are coming right now. And it's come from the top echelons. I mean, the Sachar committee has gone on record saying that the Muslims, another point that Atikur Rahman said, the normal Muslims have not benefited out of it. Exactly. The 25 families, largely the Ashraf sect, have benefited out of it. They have a stranglehold on it, and there have been Muslim scholars who've written time and again. I think Atikur Rahman Saab should join the government and welcome the amendments that we are trying to bring in. I mean, this is for all. I think the benefits should reach the destitutes, the poor, helpless women, the ones who've lost their husbands, those who are not able to earn. That's how Waqf should be. We are not talking about scrapping right now. We are talking about amendments so that this property can be managed. And why should there be two different laws in this country, Hina? A normal Hindu or a Christian goes to a civil court. Why should there be a specialized Waqf tribunal, special treatment given to a community? Isn't that against secularism?
Okay, Atikur Rahman wants to respond. Atikur Rahman.
Hina, the remedy proposed by the government of India, the BJP government in the Waqf Amendment Act, is worse than the disease. How? There is a clause in the Waqf Amendment Act which says that within 3 months, if any of the Muslim lands, they cannot prove that this belongs to the Waqf, it cannot be challenged, it cannot be argued, it cannot be placed in any court of law. So what the Muslim community is, doubting the intention is that the government, the BJP government, since it is inimical to the community, the Muslims and Islam, they are about to take over every inch owned by the Muslims.
Okay, Atikur Rahman, I heard your point and I will get my other guests to respond to that. Atikur Rahman, 1 second. Atikur Rahman ji, I have heard your point. You've said something. I will get Karan and Khalifur Rahman to respond to that. But before that, Mr. Atikur Rahman, I have a question. You're talking about how the onus after the amendments will be on the community to prove whether this particular land in question belongs to the Waqf Board or not, right? In this case, just also consider the plight of these poor people. I mean, here you have farmers who are saying, we have nowhere to go. Suddenly we have been sent these notices, 103 farmer families. Where are they supposed to go? Aren't you concerned about these people that even they today have the onus? What is it that netas from Mahavikas Aghadi had to say? Why should they worry if they have documents? They can always show their documents. Similar argument can come to your point also, that if indeed Waqf Board is laying claim on a particular property, has got the document, why should you worry? Why do you fear then that your land is going to be taken away by somebody? Shouldn't we use the same logic to, your argument as well, sir?
Fine, Hina, that's a very good question, an interesting one too. Here, if the farmers are really owning the land, I had said that since the Chief Minister heads the Waqf Board, the Waqf Chairman is the yes man of the Chief Minister. Why not be blamed on the Chief Minister who was in power since the last 3 years and before it too? Suddenly they have come to know that this land belongs to the farmers. What was the chairman and the Waqf Board officials were doing?
I will get Karan to respond to that, but you still have not answered my question, Atikur Rahman.
Here.
So Atiq ji just said, if it really belongs to them, I will repeat the same argument. If the land really belongs to the Waqf, they will have it. They will not need to appeal before anyone. So, and secondly,
One at a time, please. Atikur Rahman, 1 second.
Can I make a point?
Yes, Karan Verma, go ahead.
Please. He's time and again put the onus on the chief minister or on the Maharashtra government. Let me tell him that the problem is with the law, the draconian provisions of the law, the amendments that happened in 1995 and 2013. There is not much that the executive can do if the provisions are so draconian that you can issue a notice to anyone and then the Waqf tribunal sits over it. So it's not the CM's fault. It's the provisions that have been handed over to them, and these provisions need to go. We have given unfettered power in 2013 and 1995 to the Waqf Board. These powers need to go. We need to strike where it actually is causing all the trouble.
Okay, Atikur Rahman, closing comments. I have very little time left on the debate.
Me?
Atikur Rahman.
So if that Karan says that the chief minister is not responsible, the chief minister, he says, is not responsible, then may I ask that the chairman appointed by the Waqf Board in Maharashtra is appointed by whom? It's the chief minister.
No, the question that's being asked today, Atikur Rahman, is that if there are flaws, one second, Atikur Rahman, if the question is if there are indeed flaws, then why not support the amendments? If you think that it's happening at the behest of the state government, it's happening at the behest of the chief minister, that Waqf boards are not able to function properly the way they should be, then why not support the amendments?
It's the provisions of the law that are the problem.
The intention of the government is very bad.
Okay.
And if they clear the air on this, this can prove a very good distinction between the community and the government.
All right.
Why don't they come clean?
All right. I'm completely out of time, but I'd like to thank all my guests for joining us on this particular debate. This is definitely going to be the top focus ahead as well for us on Times Now. Karan Verma, Sriraj Nair, Khalikur Rahman and Atikur Rahman, appreciate all of you gentlemen for joining us on this debate on Times Now.